Hey everybody, I'm Olivia, and I just started grad school this week, and I'm studying counseling psychology, and it's only been 3 days of classes, but already I've learned so much about myself and who I am, and how I respond to different situations. So I figured I might as well share that with other people. Hopefully has a learning experience for some things you might discover when you start going through graduate school in counseling psychology, or maybe other people can connect to some of the things that I've found out. And yeah, kind of felt like dressing up. Love being all colorful. So I'm thinking I'm gonna post this about once a week to just do a little review of things that I've discovered, and hopefully people get some knowledge out of it. So over the course of the next 2 years, while I'm posting these videos and doing my studies, you'll probably hear a lot about my many medical and physical and mental struggles and things like that. I will do my best to put up a trigger warning if I ever feel like that is needed. But, maybe some of you guys could connect. And if anybody ever has any questions, you know what? Feel free to ask. I'm always open to chat. I love to hear from people. So here goes, I guess. So this is my first week, and I started a little journal even. I have to show you guys. It's so cute. Okay. So I started it up. Is what I've learned about myself in grad school. Yay! So I figured this was a good way to keep track of what I've discovered and look to it in the future to see how far I've come, and also to remind myself if for some reason I ever forget. I don't know, I've been extremely forgetful lately, and I've been noticing that I'll discover things about myself that I never realized, and then I'll just bury it again. And that's not very helpful. Like, to be a successful counselor for somebody else, you need to really understand yourself and be able to take care of yourself first, so that you can be ready and present and available to your clients, rather than being all caught up in your own emotional and mental struggles. So, anyways, one of the first things that I learned about this week is that I actually don't talk about my feelings well. I always see myself as being a very open person, and I'm more than happy to talk about my emotional experiences and things like that. But I've discovered in an activity where we were practicing reflecting back feelings that people were telling us, that I was actually struggling to use feeling words. And instead of using feelings, I was saying thoughts. Like, I would say, it sounds like you are feeling like there is too much going on in your life. And that's not a feeling. That's more of a observation of the situation. So it's something that I'm gonna try and practice, hoping to review a bunch of different feeling words and their meanings and try and get myself more into using those. And something else I discovered from that is that although I've been usually pretty open about my experiences and talking about them, I almost never let people see me experience my emotions. It's like I've never felt safe enough to let others see how intense my emotions can get, which has been a really big eye-opener for me. I actually had a pretty long cry about it yesterday, to be honest. And I was by myself in my car. Nobody could really see or hear me. And that's why I felt safe to actually let myself cry. But that's something that I've learned that I need to work on. Because if I can't be open and true to myself in front of other people, then how are clients going to realize that I'm being real with them? I'm not sure, but yeah, so learning to break out of my shell, I guess. Another thing I also learned this week is that learning about attachment styles is actually a slightly triggering subject for me. I always knew I've had triggers, haven't really been able to identify them, and that's something that I've been hoping to do in this program so that I can monitor the triggers and be prepared for them in case it ever comes up with a client. And now, attachment styles. So there's insecure and secure attachment. And then there's 3 different types of insecure attachment. There's avoidant, there's ambivalent, and there's disorganized, I believe it was called. Still trying to get it all plugged into my brain. The disorganized category was added more recently to the model, but it's definitely an important part of it. And the reason I find studying attachment theories difficult, throughout my bachelor's degree and now in my graduate studies, is because it reminds me of the experiences I had as a child growing up, not being able to develop a secure attachment. And I don't blame anybody for that. If anything, I blame either genetics or just the situation I had to grow up in, where my brother had autism and he just needed a lot more attention and support than I did. I held up on my own I think I held up fairly well. I mean, I guess once you hear my list of mental health diagnoses, you might not agree with me, but yeah, so I ended up with a pretty insecure attachment style, which I believe is probably why I don't feel safe letting other people see my emotions. And so when I'm studying attachment styles and going over them in school for my studies, I get overwhelmed by memories of what has caused me to be insecure and how my insecure attachment as a child has impacted my adult relationships with friends and family and my fiance, and it just hurts that this struggle exists. I can handle it. It's okay. But I think I just noticed my camera moved. Oh well. Anyways. So, yeah, that was a interesting realization for me. Like, I noticed that I felt distressed before studying attachment styles, but I never really understood enough to pinpoint it as a trigger for me. So, that's something I'm going to be working through the next couple of years. And there was one more thing. And just going back to my little journal because I told you guys my memory's shit. I'm gonna bleep that out. Okay. Oh, I actually got very, very triggered in my last class of the week, which surprised me. I was feeling a lot of hope during the first several classes of the week. As it's a very small group of students, and we're all really, really encouraged to participate in class and speak out. And it was great because I felt like my input was important and valued, and all throughout grade school and my bachelor's degree, I was always, nobody really seemed to care for me, and I'd always kind of held back my input because I was kind of at the top of the class and I understood things fairly well, so I'd let other students who needed that chance to learn and check in with the teacher about their ideas do that, while I kind of sat back and I'd input if I felt nobody else was going to. But also I felt ostracized a lot of the time through grade school. So, yeah, but I've gotten through most of it, and I've been really looking forward to how things are going in this course with everybody's voices being heard. And so I'm getting a lot better at talking in front of the class and getting my input put in. But my last class, we were doing a little bit of a case study in a way, and the professor was just asking for our emotional responses to this case study. And I felt a really strong emotional reaction to the case study. It hit close to home, and I wanted to share, that I really felt the strong urge to say, you are not alone. There are other people going through this struggle, and I know people who you could be with and be yourself with and be safe with being yourself with, where you don't have to hide. And everybody else was throwing in their input, and I was just kind of waiting for my chance to step in. But before I could, the professor decided, well, thanks for all your input, it's time to go to break. And I felt heartbroken. Like, I had all these memories rushing back to me of going through life and not feeling important in the slightest, and feeling like an outcast, like my voice was unimportant. I know I just said that word, and just so much loneliness and rejection, and it just, everything came flooding back to me. And then I even started panicking, like, no, it's happening again. I'm gonna be stuck going through this program, just hiding in the corner and kind of just trying to get by without anybody seeing me. And it just all came coming back, and I was in a lot of emotional distress and pain after that. But in the moment, I was able to tell myself and realize that, it's okay. This program is still really great, and there's still that really big emphasis on getting everybody to participate and everybody to talk and all of that. And I ended up feeling better once I actually let myself feel the emotion. I mean, I still had half of the class to finish, so I kind of pushed everything to the back until it was kind of safe to let everything out, because, man, I would have been so embarrassed if I broke down in class. But, I expect to break down in class at some point. It's just something that like I've said, I don't like letting other people see how I feel. So that'll be a big breakthrough once I do break down in class a few times. But yeah, I've felt really, really hurt, but I held it in until I got some space to myself, and I let it all out. I cried and cried and cried for I'm pretty sure it was at least half an hour, but it was good. It's been a long time since I've actually let myself cry, because I don't actually get a ton of opportunities where I'm alone enough to let myself feel. I have a roommate, and then there's my fiance as well, and just I'm getting better at letting my fiance see me feel. But even having somebody hear that I was crying would just be like, no, I'm okay, don't worry about me, you take care of yourself. But I'm learning to take care of me now too. So anyways, good chat with y'all. I guess I'll see you all next week. If anybody wants to try and chat more or connect or give me suggestions, I apologize for the shoddy video editing. I need to focus on studying and taking care of myself, but two, I can get kind of impatient trying to learn something new that I'm not super, super into. And three, I guess my video editing skills are not there. And all of a sudden I wasn't there. Anyways, so, good night. Take care. Take care of yourself. And it's okay to be selfful. That's something that's been said a lot by the director at my school, and I love it. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. It's important and selfful. Good night.